All right, jumping straight into it tonight.
What's going on?
What's up, fellas? Good evening, everybody. What's happening, Nate? Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you too. I mean, we cannot start out this show without recognizing the third person on this show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Bill's Mustache. Welcome Bill's Mustache to the show. He is our official new member of KOTG. So that thing
it's coming in pretty damn good.
That thing is amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I like it. I like it a lot. Reminds me of my little guy that I tend to grow, but I think that's thick. Thick.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm going to keep it for a little while until the wife gets sick of it or the coworkers are tired of looking at it. But I don't know. I think it's kind of funny, and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah. Well, I know it's like, and you had to have known, like, when you posted that last reel that you were just going to get a ton of comments on it.
I was hoping somebody would say something. I think I did get somebody like, "Oh, dude, nice stash." I was like, "Yes."
I definitely gave you the old muff mop.
Yep.
So,
yeah, man. Speaking of mowing, I'm still mowing.
Yeah, for sure.
So the season's not over for me yet.
No. So surprisingly, we've got like a decent amount of rain, and it's like, what we wanted like 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago type of rain.
Right,
like it's actually been that, like, Saturday it just rained all day and we got maybe half an inch, or 3/4 of an inch, but it was a full like 20-hour rain. The only bad part is, of course, like with daylight savings time, the only time I can mow now is the weekends.
I know.
And so Saturday I was like, it's supposed to rain only in the morning. And instead, I'll wait till it's done, and like early evening, late afternoon, I'll go out and mow, get it all done. Well, it decided to rain all day Saturday, so I was like, well, I'll do it Sunday. Well, Sunday we got up, went to church. After church, we ran up to Des Moines, did some stuff, hit lunch, and then we do like a life group where we get together with couples from the church and just kind of talk about stuff. We do that in the afternoon. And then literally by that time I got home and it's dark. So I'm like, well, there went the whole weekend right there. And then now, like, I get home and maybe have 10 minutes between pulling in the driveway and total darkness. And that's like 5:15. So
I wasn't even thinking about daylight savings just a couple weeks back when it was still like I would get home and I would have, maybe an hour before it's dark. So the kids and I, football was over. So sometimes maybe I go get a quick mow in, or we toss the football around for 45 minutes until dinner time or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, that daylight savings, that's all out the window now. I will say, the sun for now is still coming up in the morning time, so I can kind of walk outside and look at the grass. It's looking pretty good right now. So I still have that, but the days are coming where it's going to be dark when I leave and dark when I get home.
Yeah.
And it's going to be depressing for a few months, but we're still warm, which is awesome. So on the weekends, this weekend, Saturday was all rainy, but it was kind of like a drizzle all day long. And then Sunday, the clouds parted, had some nice sunny weather. It was a great day for, mid-November almost. We were in the mid 60s when the sun's on you. It felt warm. The grass was still wet, so I bagged it just because I didn't want to clog up the mower or anything. But man, it's thick. It's growing. It's dark. It's looking really good right now. And I was like, man, I wish I had a little bit more daylight. Could squeak and drag this season out a little bit more. But you just have to take advantage of the weekends these next couple of weeks until it gets super cold.
Yeah, but actually, like tonight, I got home, and it helps when it's like a cloudy day and it gets dark, because it seems to get dark even earlier. But if it's a nice, perfectly clear day, like you maybe have an extra 5-10 minutes. And so tonight I actually got home and I'm like, you know what? Like, my goal is just to get like this little area right here. That's all I wanted to get done, was just like my front yard, And so I was like, all right, that's my goal. I'm going to do it. And mine's pretty long. It's still actively growing. And so I bagged it, and I got that done. And then my other side, the other side of my driveway, all done, basically up into the backyard. So I was pretty happy. I mean, it was definitely dark, like when I was finished mowing.
Did you do your Time Master, or did you do okay, sweet.
No, honestly, like I haven't used my John Deere much this year, just because of overseeding and wanting to keep like the heavier piece of equipment off. Also, with the zero turn, unless you kind of do like a 3-point turn,
Mhm.
it'll kind of, when you turn your wheels,
Rip.
when you turn your
Rip.
wheels, it'll tear it up pretty good. So I've
Yeah.
been just kind of staying off it with that. Plus, once like I was mowing with my Time Master, I get my 30-inch stripes in, and then that's
Mhm.
42. So it's like,
Yeah.
so it's like one of those things. But yeah, so I grabbed the Time Master. Plus, I wanted to bag it because it was, like I said, getting long. But yeah, did the Time Master, grabbed it, ran it until it was dark, and I'm happy with what I got done. And maybe
Does yours have lights on it?
no,
Oh
no,
man.
no.
Okay.
Does
I
your
got lights on mine, so I
on
might
the on the Time
well,
Master?
actually I don't know. I have to go look at the Time Master. The Super Recycler does for sure, but now that I
Okay.
think about it, I don't know if the Time Master does or not. I'll have to run
Yeah.
upstairs and check. But if it does, that would be kind of fun to do try to squeak one in and see how the lights do when it's really coming down. On a cloud, like you said, when there's no clouds and you can got to get that little sunset glimmer that kind of lights up the sky just a little bit longer. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun to give that a shot. I'd have to run out of work right at 5. It's about a 25, 30-minute drive to get home. So
Oh, you're
I'd
dark.
I'd have everything set up in the garage, probably ready to go. That way I could just run home, pop out, start mowing, and then might just do that.
Yeah, that's what I literally walked in, set my lunchbox down, ran out, filled up with gas, and then took off. But yeah, like I said, did that, and then maybe tomorrow. Oh, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. That's why I really wanted to get it done tonight, because it's supposed to rain tonight into tomorrow. So I was like, well, crap, I'm like, it's gonna be the weekend by the time I get here. But yeah, like honestly, like the bad part is kind of like you, like when I go to work, it is dark. It's not like dark, but it's definitely dark. And then when I get home, if I decide to mow, I don't have time to take a picture. It'd be a black picture. So but no, I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed with how green my lawn is right now. Just like I said, with all the rain and the cooler temperatures, and we've had a few frosts, but I haven't lost much color at all, which is surprising. So hopefully those kind of warmer afternoons that are sitting in the 60s, and whatnot, it's thriving on that temperature right now.
Yeah, I was this weekend I was going to take some pictures of, because before we had all the rain, there's a pretty big difference between my yard and both of my neighbors' yards as far as that, theirs were looking a little bit dried out, a little bit more dormant. But we had all the rain we've had this past week and a half or ish, I'd say about 3 or 4 days of like solid rain throughout this past week and a half. And yeah, I mean, the neighbors' lawns are greening up. I was like, all right, well, I do have a little bit more of this experimental iron product. So I'm thinking I might spray some of that down just for fun, just to see if I can get it a little bit darker than the neighbors, and maybe see if that'll kind of, I don't know if it'll help hold the green longer too, maybe as things start to cool off. So I thought that'd be kind of a fun thing, is maybe do a couple sections, maybe do a section and then maybe leave the middle of my yard no iron, and then do the other section, so that you can kind of I can see if there's a difference. I've never really done that before, and I think this would be an easy thing to do. I got like a blue tarp we can drag out, so I can try to make more of a sharp line with the sprayer or whatever, and kind of get this nice edge to it, and really kind of see if there's a difference. So if the weather's good enough this weekend, I'll do it. If not, maybe I'll do it the following weekend, because looking at our calendar, man, this next week is going to be really nice. Next weekend's going to be nice. And then maybe the week of Thanksgiving, we're getting down into the high 40s, low 50s, and then getting into like 31, 30 overnight. So one other thing I'm going to be thinking about trying to accomplish this weekend is finally blowing out my irrigated sprinkler system. I took all the hoses and things out from the backyard from doing that overseeding and watering, put all those away. But I haven't done the irrigreen yet. My thought was like, okay, I could still water it and keep things going, but we've just had so much rain. I haven't used it the past few weeks, but I'm like, okay, I'm getting to the point now where I'm probably not going to be using it. So before it gets cold and I run out of time, maybe I can do that this weekend. So that's one of my things to accomplish this weekend as well, is to get that taken care of.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like, I didn't want to get caught with, all of a sudden it turned cold real quick, which I don't think you would have that hard and deep of a freeze in that amount of time.
No.
But at the same time, like, I was like, same thing with you. I was like, the temps, I don't need to be watering right now, because it's not, I mean, if it goes dormant, it's heading that way anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely, I decided I tried doing it myself. My neighbor had a big 30-gallon vertical like tank.
Yeah.
and came over, did it. I had everything right, but it was letting it out of the backflow. Like I couldn't get my backflow to seal, so then it would go forward.
Mhm. Huh.
And I doing a lot of reading. It sounds like it was very, very common. People just say I just kept trying, then all of a sudden it would seal. But
So you have yours. Where is your little port that you plug the air into? Is it downstream of the you have a PVB, the above ground one?
yeah, so my main line would come
Pressure vacuum breaker?
up to my backflow,
Okay.
and then it's going to come off my backflow, and then I have a master valve right there that stays
Gotcha.
shut.
Okay.
So it's in between. It's between the backflow and the master valve. It's actually part of the backflow. You have like
Okay.
your test, what
Little
are they called?
bleed
Test,
thing.
yeah, a little test cock.
Uh-huh.
There's one like before it and after it. It's the one that's after it. I just hooked up a airline connection to it, which is
Nice.
where everything. I mean, that's everything I was following. You're supposed to do it after. So then, like I said, couldn't get it. Finally, I was like, like I'm just gonna hire it down. I'm gonna hire it out. Have them come do it so I can at least see how they do it and just make sure. My concern was maybe there's something wrong, and it wasn't just me. And then I was like, well, I don't want to keep farting with it or whatever. So just hired it out. They came last Friday. Dude was, I mean, they have, they pull up with the truck and it's got the big old, and their hose is like, I mean, it's got to be like a 2-inch like airline or something. I don't even know. I mean, huge diameter.
Yeah.
But he went through the bottom because on the very, very bottom down leg, I have a spigot.
Yeah.
And so he hooked up to the spigot and he went up through and everything. And I asked him, because everything I read says you shouldn't go through your backflow. And he said that they do that for everything. They go through the backflow.
Well, it makes sense. My thought would be is like, well, you'd want your backflow to be, you don't want that full of water either. So, and I looked at mine and so I have my little air valve before mine, but mine's it's like the dual check valve. So it's got like 4 little ports and it's a inline below the ground style one. And when I did it last year, I just bought one of those, I think it's like a 5-gallon, I think it was like $150 from Home Depot. Like
it's like a bigger pancake, right?
Yeah. A little bit bigger pancake. Because everything I read was talking about, it's just the volume of air it can hold. You're going to have multiple rounds. And I thought, well, that's fine. Just do it a few times. So I, when I was doing it, filled that thing up. I think I said it like 40 PSI, something like that. And then you run your head. I started off with I think I went furthest and then worked my way back in. And then I did a second and third round. I just kept going because it wouldn't get everything. And then once I finally saw like, okay, now there's really not much mist coming out, boom, stop the head and then move on to the next one and you're done. And that worked out great. My only concern is that with all the rain we've had, I just checked this weekend and the meter pit, the dual check valve pit, my neighbor, everybody's pits are full of water. So I'm going to have to pump all that shit out and
so that
let it kind of
freeze.
dry. Well, I mean, that's what it's going to do that, whatever. I mean, I don't think that's going to, that actually might keep it from freezing because we don't get that crazy cold. I don't know that all that volume would freeze solid, but I mean, that's what happens. I mean, that's there. So to my knowledge, this house has never had an issue if those have been full of water all throughout wintertime. It's just the insides that I was concerned about with, all the irrigation stuff. So I didn't think about that. Yeah. Cause we still can get rain over the wintertime and those do fill back up all winter, but nothing happened last winter. So I'm hoping that that'll just be the case.
Yeah.
I have to imagine the external stuff is fine. It's just the internal because of the pressure of the expansion of the water.
Yeah. So I was a little concerned. So it was a kid, kind of, just younger kid. But so he says he's supposed to be there at a certain time. And I see on the doorbell, he's there like, I haven't even left work yet. And he's already there. And I'm like, hey, like you said, you're going to be here at this time. He's like, oh, it's fine. I'll just sleep in my truck or whatever till you get here. So I pull up and he's out like sleeping in the truck. And I'm like, great. So right away, as soon as he gets out, he grabs the hose and starts, dragging it to the backyard. And I'm like, so like what PSI do you run? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
I was like,
whatever they had it set to when I pulled on the truck and drove over here.
So I'm like, okay, like I think you're going to be like really high. And I'm like, God dang. Like, so I was nervous. So then basically what I told is like, he hooked everything up and I'm like, all right, like bleed it open, and I don't want you to go full throttle.
Right.
Like, I mean, I just want you to like kind of choke it open.
Just get ease into it, man. You can't just.
I was like, if we're getting water
Full
coming out,
hog
like
it.
that's all I need to do is basically enough air to push the water through the heads, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. You know, I started with my front two, and I was actually surprised at like when the first head opened, like how much water came out before air. Because
Yeah.
a lot of the guys' videos were saying, "Oh, it's only gonna be a couple seconds," and I'm like, that's why I anticipated, but it was like 30 seconds almost. And then then it starts spitting and hitting all the air and all that. But then I did like number 1, and then I did number 7. So basically, it pushed the whole. So like mine are in my front. So it's like from the back to the front, basically is what it did, and pushed them all out. But then when I went like 2 and 6, 3 and 4, then 5, there's barely anything that came out of those. Those were just like, a couple seconds of blowing them out, because it was probably just that little side leg off the main is what all it was.
Yeah,
but then I went
probably get the majority of the water out of the system with that first push, probably.
Oh,
which is why you start with that's why I start with the furthest one back.
Yep, push everything through, and then I went back and opened up 1 and 7 just to make sure, and it was spitting pretty good. And I'm like, no, I feel good, but yeah, my only concern is like, because like when he opened it up, the distance it through the water, I was like, holy shit, like this
really?
Oh yeah, it was like into my driveway,
Oh
like,
man.
So that was like, God damn, that's like too much pressure you're pushing through.
I mean, and he was shooting it out further than the water goes when it's maxed out, further than like 30, 35 feet.
Yeah, so and I was like, God dang, like, so I mean, I'm really hoping that there's no issues or anything like that.
So you saw how he went in, and now you think you can do it yourself next winter?
Yep. So I'm going to try and duplicate that. I'm going to get the connections and try to do it. I'm going to try and do it with the same little like air fitting, but I just have to get like off the hose bib and just have a reducer or whatever it is. So I'll play around some stuff and try and figure that out. But yeah, I'm going to try it myself next year. I actually might even like, I don't know, try and like, you could always like, even in May or whatever, you could technically do it then. So I could charge it and then turn everything off, hook it all up, and try and blow it out in like, May, June, whatever, and then just recharge it again.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't do anything to, recharge the line. So yeah, I'm going to play around with it. Hopefully I can do it. I was expecting 100 to 150 bucks to do it, and it was like 80. So, I mean, at the end of the day, was it crazy? No, but I mean, dude was there for 15 minutes, to actually do the work. And I'm like, but
yeah, the guys that, the local lawn company here in town, that they pick up the recycling if you need recycling pickup, and then they mow most everybody's lawns that don't do it themselves. And they offered, I have to get my backflow checked every year. And when I called them up, I was like, hey, do you guys do that too? And well, we do the irrigation system and stuff. So they sent the guy out and did it. I think that was like $150 for
your annual inspection.
For my annual inspection, which is like, that's kind of a lot, but whatever. Yeah. I mean, at least I passed my, it's like, at least I did everything right and I passed. But they offered to blow it out. They had, they offer that service too. I didn't ask how much that was, but I thought, if that was like, if I can get them checked at the end of the, well, you're supposed to get it checked at the beginning of the year. I had until the end of the year this year to do it, but I guess they would check it probably in the springtime when you want to set it all back up again. And anyway, they'd probably be an extra fee. I was thinking they could check it and blow it out at the same time if it's a little bit extra, but they do that at different times. So never mind, forget that idea.
Yeah.
So, it's not a big deal to do it, and it's kind of fun, but it'd also be kind of sweet if they could just do it. I guess they'd have to know how to do your heads. I'd have to be there anyway. I don't have it where they can get into my system. Mine's not a traditional system anyway. So
well, that's what, like, when I called the company and everything, I was like, I'm gonna have to be there to open up all the heads and do it myself. I was like, it's not a traditional system.
That's why I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
and I wanted to see you do it.
Yeah. So, well, and the crappy part is, like, I had, I was gonna make a reel and kind of, shutting off the water, doing all the stuff, and even like doing everything, and I had it all like done. So the only thing I did, and like when I was trying to get it to work, I had my GoPro out right in front of my head, and I could never get the air pressure to work, so I didn't finish the video. Well, then this guy came out and he just did everything, and I was like, I'm not gonna film trying to do it. So now I was like, well, it's done.
It's done. One less thing, I guess.
I didn't do any video or anything like that of it, but yeah. So
I'll try to do something. I'm sure the little the pit I have for my backflow is probably a muddy mess. I'm probably gonna have to kind of rinse it out a little bit, but um, I want to do something, but I don't really know what I would do.
yeah.
But
Well, and the other thing, like,
figure
you know,
something out.
like, but like, I don't know what you use to film, but like, if you use your phone to film, if
That's
you
what
know,
that's what I use, and I have my GoPro. But yeah, you need to have the phone to control everything.
yeah, so you're gonna have to do
Uh-huh.
you're gonna have to use the app to open up the head, then
That too has been my issue with trying to make irrigreen sprinkler head content. Is I use my damn phone that I use to control the head. So one of the videos I made, I was literally like, okay, phone, turn head on, and then flip back to camera app,
yeah.
focus, record, and then run in there and hi guys, this is my system, whatever. And I was like, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous, but yeah, I got to utilize the GoPro more if
Yep.
I'm going to do any irrigreen content.
Do you have the Green 3 controller
I have the new one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
installed, ready to roll?
Yep, it's running
Okay.
around it. Well, I mean, I haven't. Well, I've used it, but it's not. I'm not running my sprinklers right now, but I could.
But I mean, but it's hooked up to that system now.
Yep, got it all plugged in, good to go.
Have you done anything like with the actually like stood there at the box and done anything?
I haven't played with it. It's got
Yep.
the little ticker screen or whatever on there. I haven't.
Yep.
I mean, their app is so. I mean, it's. I mean, I always have my phone on me, so I don't necessarily. I haven't played with it yet. No, I mean, it's a kind of a cool idea, but haven't needed to mess with it yet. The thing that I'm excited about is it's got their 2.0 heads, supposedly, right, has a little bit more. They've kind of made some minor adjustments to the outlets for the water coming out, a little bit different, better spread.
Different insert. You talking about the insert?
Yeah, little inserts. They updated those.
You have
right?
that on. You have those on all of them?
No, just one so far.
Okay.
I need to. I haven't messed with the other 4 yet, but I figured I could do that early spring.
Yeah, it's super. You just twist off the cap and slide it out, slide the other one in. Yeah, I got all mine. I put all 7 of mine like that.
Did you hear anything more about they were coming out with like a one to help with like overseeding and stuff to where it was a little bit more gentle up close?
I have not.
No.
I know there was conversations about it, but I have not.
I'm sure it's in the works.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of that idea that you could swap them out like that is kind of cool. If there's ways you could make adjustments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I would definitely say that's something, if they're working on it, that'd be cool to have or cool to try out. But yeah, same thing. I hooked my, the third one up, but I haven't played, I haven't actually ran anything from the box and played around with the controls at all on it. Like you said, the app is so kind of user friendly. It's really nice to use.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I did is I did get it hooked up to the Alexa.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I was sitting inside, but you got to be pretty specific with what you say. And so and I had to figure that out. But yeah, I stood in my kitchen and said, Alexa, turn on or water my lawn. And then it was, oh shit, hopefully it doesn't do it. But, but yeah, then then it was it does that. And then it was turn on zone 2 or whatever. And then, it came on. It was pretty sweet.
That's cool.
So
you said water my lawn, and then Alexa said which zone, or what was the next part?
I can't remember. Then it was another question, then I had to answer that question.
Oh, okay.
I only did it once, just kind of playing around with it. But yeah,
I'll have to set that up and play around with it because that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Yep. So it was kind of cool.
But, oh shit! It's really hot out. Alexa, give it a little rinse there, real quick.
Yeah, exactly. But,
so what are you doing this weekend? Are you you'll probably hit the mow again if the weather's right? And you got any other yard projects you got to knock out before it gets super cold?
No, I mean I've now that I'm not running hoses every day, I don't have hoses really connected or whatever. But definitely it's too early. I mean I could, but I haven't put my hose bib covers on or anything like that. Which depending on where you live, you may use them or you may not have to use them depending on how cold, but I'll put hose bib covers on, especially on the north side, but south side. And I have a controlled, I can turn off the south side water and drain it basically. So I got that one turned off, but my north side, which is the one I wish I had, I can't isolate it and turn it off with my current setup. So, but yeah, so just kind of turn that one off and cover it up, and like I said, hopefully everything's good. But no, I don't have much much to do. Like I said, just hopefully keep up with mowing. The leaves have basically stopped.
Yeah.
So, or not stopped, but they're all gone. So, just keep kind of mowing and, hopefully hit those last few mows. And,
Are you doing any more, any like winter fertilizer apps or anything? Any kind of slow release, or you're
nope.
all done with anything?
So my last app, I put down Anderson's, 24011. And also I put down Pro Pete's, the Endless Green.
Ooh,
So
okay.
like I said, and it's darker than shit right now, and I
Yeah.
love it. You know what I mean? It's super dark. Like you said, before we got all this rain, I mean, mine was popping in the neighborhood, and
Mm-hmm.
like, it was just crazy standing out. But then we got all this rain, so all the neighbors' lawns are starting to come back.
Starting
Like,
to catch up a
dang it.
little bit.
Yeah, I'm like, dang it.
It just doesn't have that shocking contrast like it used to.
Exactly. But no, it's definitely, I mean, how it looks now is how it normally would look in October.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we're a month behind with the weather and everything.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm
no,
glad that we've had this continued good weather because,
yeah,
with my ripping up the lawn and doing everything I did, I was really hoping to have a few more weeks, just to keep going. And I've noticed,
established.
it's definitely slowed down, but as thick as it's looking, as green as it is, I'm
Mhm.
hoping that is like a sign that, it's putting down roots and it's really kind of
Yeah.
working on getting itself prepared for the wintertime, putting
Yep.
all that energy going down. Because I mean, things have bushed up, areas of the lawn where I was concerned about it. That didn't really fill in very well. I'll have to come back in the springtime. Some of those spots, I'm like, wow, I won't have to do as much as I was thinking I was going to
Yeah.
do. My side yard in the little smaller section of my house, next to my neighbor towards the back by my fence, some
Mhm.
areas there didn't really take very well, and I was like, damn. But now
They might, though.
it
Come
doesn't look
spring.
great. It doesn't look like the front half, but it's filled in. And I think can come springtime. So we'll have to see how it is, and maybe by like, I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. If I'm going to oversee it again or do any kind of repair work, I'll just have to see. But I'm really happy with how things have just continued. And I think part of it too was I gave it a good dose of nitrogen.
Yeah.
And I think some of my applications in previous seasons have been a little bit light. So I wanted to be, all right, let's put some, let's give it a really heavy dose and see how that does. And yeah, it's looking really good, doing really good. And I'm really happy with where we're at. Some areas that I totally burnt off with Roundup and seeded it looks awesome. It's like, oh my God, this is all the Artemis right here. There's no old lawn mixed in. You can just really tell.
Yeah.
Some of the sections that looked real thin at first, like the blades were small and thin, almost like angel hair pasta. And now they look like normal spaghetti noodles. They've bushed out a little bit and thickened up. And man, it just
like
looks
your
so
beard.
good. Exactly.
Like your mustache.
Yeah. But no, I'm happy with it. I'm I think every now and you get a little bit discouraged when you see things are slowing down, or you get those cold snaps or that first little frost. You're like, the season's coming to an end.
Yep.
But then you're like, oh man, this is all right. Okay, I got to remember this, and we still got a little bit of time left. So yeah.
Well, what's your take or opinion on height of cut going into like winter? What do you do? What's your stance?
I honestly don't really change it that much. I have been cutting at maybe 3.25 right now. That's just
what's normal.
I think at 3.5. I go
Okay.
maybe another notch above where I'm at now.
Higher or lower?
Higher. So yeah, I go up to like 3.5. So I'm a little bit lower than I have been in previous years, but I think it's just the grass just looks really good at this height right now, and I've been really happy with how it's looking. So I haven't raised my deck. Also, when I go to mow, the growth just isn't that. So I'm not even taking all that much off. So I'm like, okay, the grass is doing really well. It seems to be doing fine at this height. I think I'm just going to stick with it. Now I don't know. I don't want to go any lower than that. I just don't think the fescue will
I
look
bet it will
better going lower. You think it might look okay even lower? Yeah.
With Artemis, I bet you could mow Artemis at like 2.5, and I bet it would still look really good. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's true, but I bet you could.
I mean, I
So,
could give that a shot. Like, we'll see how, like, if I go mow this weekend and there hasn't been that much growth, maybe I'll take it down another notch,
what I noticed, like with mine, anytime I drop the height, you almost, what you need to do is, like, let's say you're at 3 now and you want to go at 2.5. You
Mm-hmm.
need to drop it down to 2, mow like once or twice, and then go back up to 2.5, and just
Yeah.
and then settle in there. And after probably 2 or 3 mows from that height, so you're talking like 5 mows.
Sure.
This is my experience. Then that's when it really settles in, because it's almost like you have to like train it, condition it,
Yeah.
get all that out of there and let it grow back. And then, okay, this is the height I'm gonna get cut at. Because if I just come in and drop it down and like do it once or twice, it doesn't look that good. It just,
Mhm.
you're kind of getting into some of that dead stuff, or you're getting into the growing part. But yeah, when I kind of reset it down and let it grow back up, like right now, I've been mowing on, like, with the Time Master D&D, which honestly, like, it kind of looks like I used to, like when it was on C and C. So it's like, dang, like maybe I could drop it down even more. I'm not going to, but I could easily drop it down another notch and mow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild.
So before I did this little renovation, I had lots of patches of like grass that was kind of like all intermixed like this, and it didn't really stripe very well. And
Yeah.
there's nothing you could do about it because it didn't grow up. And looking at how the lawn looks right now, the vast majority of those, and especially the larger patches, are gone, and it looks way better. There's still some of that out there.
Consistent across
Yes,
it.
yeah, and the grass, and I can tell that these blades, the way they're kind of lining up, the way things are looking, it'll be better for striping and things like that.
Mhm.
You're just getting more of a just upright growth, and so I think that for me that's really encouraging. Now, some of the other spots that didn't, there is some new seed that have germinated around that too, because I scalped, I ripped everything up, and so there's still stuff mixed in there. I can see different grass mixed in there. So I'm hoping that maybe keeping it a little bit lower like this and mowing more frequently might kind of help, so that if I do eventually kind of bring it back up,
it will. I think
you'll be more inclined to have that thickness and then start growing up rather than out as much. I don't know. It's an idea. So maybe next spring I'll start off going a little bit lower, like you said, like you're thinking, and then bring it up, or at least try that to see how it does. Because I'd like to be able to keep it a little short and have it stripe really well, because it did awesome this summertime with the sprinkler system. I mean, that is like it's like night and day, and not having to move hoses and things. It's awesome. So I don't think I'll have any trouble staying green unless I get some kind of fungus or other issue. But it won't be from lack of water. So keep it low, and I think we'll do pretty good.
See, I know a lot of people talk about like lowering your height of cut as you go into winter. I personally don't do that. I don't even know if I agree with it. I think for me, as long as you're consistently mowing at what you've been mowing at, the whole goal is not to go into winter with a long kind of overgrown and then it lays over, and because then you're going to get snow mold potentially. So for me, it's one of those, like, as long as you get a good last cut in and it goes to sleep, or it, quits growing with not crazy, then you're fine. But
yeah, I mean, I think I would say the same, just there's no, to me, I mean, maybe if you want to have it a little bit shorter, just to have it clean for that last cut of the season, so that because you're still going to get a little bit of growth here and there, and it's going to height's going to become uneven and everything like that. So maybe you could justify it there, but either way, it's still going to do that over winter time, and come spring, it won't look as good as it did at the end of December as it does at the beginning of spring. So, but we don't get enough snow. We didn't get any snow last year. So things like snow mold and those kinds of things aren't an issue for us ever, really, where I'm at. And I've heard people make the argument, if you want your blades a little bit longer, it helps them kind of soak up more sun because the days are shorter. You just got more blade surface area. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. But theoretically it makes sense. But I don't think it would make big enough difference unless you're going to keep your grass like a lot higher than you would normally do, changing your height of cut a little bit, will it make that much of a difference? Probably not. But if you're, if you get a lot of snow and you get a lot of matting down, things like that, then maybe lowering it a little bit for that last cut of the season or whatever may help. Yeah.
See, I'd prefer that we got like some snow and, just enough to cover everything. And then it stays covered like the whole year, because this year we didn't get much snow at all. And it got bitterly cold, really, really windy. And in spring, like early spring, like March, my yard looked the worst it's ever looked ever. I mean, I took pictures and I was like, like, holy crap, like we're going to have some issues. I mean, everything grew out of it and there's no long effect, but I was extremely concerned with the way it's going to look. And what it was basically those areas were not covered in snow. So like I had a whole bunch of snow covering, but where it maybe blown off or the sun had melted it. Yeah. That's what it was. And then it melted away and then it got super cold like 2 weeks later, super windy. And so it's like, got that hard damage of the.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you mentioned how windy it was, that probably definitely, dries things out and they're all kind of exposed to the elements. So it's going to do whatever it has to do to survive. And those blades are going to be toast and it's going to look a little ugly, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd actually prefer if we had, like just an inch of snow the whole winter, or like at least like, Christmas to like, through January, and then February can start melting off and start coming back. But
you want that snow that they have in all the damn Hallmark movies where it's like the sidewalks are always shoveled or whatever, but the grass and everything else has got a little layer, just looks beautiful, pristine. Just keep that. And that's fine. Let me get to work. Let me get home. Keep the grass covered and protected. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I said, ideally. But yeah, like I said, I don't, back to my original question. I don't change anything going into winter. I just can keep consistently mowing. That's my advice to anyone.
Yeah.
Some people drop their height. I don't think it does anything.
I'm kind of of the mind that I have my one tree out front, but it's a Bradford and it's just going to slowly drop leaves probably all winter long. So I would mow, I would rake, I would try to get as much of the leaves as I can initially, but in the end, there was a good amount that just kind of stayed on the grass, and it was ugly in the springtime, but it came back. So at this point, it's probably a few more weeks of really necessary mowing and leaf cleanup. Yeah. And then after that, it would be like, is it a nice day on a Saturday randomly? Do I have some excuse where I could run outside and fart around in the yard just for fun?
Yeah.
So the actual real stuff is coming to an end here pretty soon.
Are you still striping right now?
No, I haven't done any striping at all. I don't think the sun at this point. I tried it one time, and the way the sun goes across the yard, you'd have to look away from my house to be able to see stripes at this time of year. So no striping yet, but I've enjoyed the lush green lawn. I could probably try to do a parallel to the house, and then in the evening time, the sun will be coming back from behind the house. So if I look out from the house toward the street, I might be able to see something. But even then, the sun is so low in the sky all day long that it just looks green. I think you don't really see that light and dark contrast. It's not like directly above me ever at this time of year. So I would say like April, May, June is probably the best times where the sun is just right in the morning time, where you can kind of get some really good shots. But as the year goes on, it gets a little dicey.
Gotcha.
How about you?
I leave mine on all the time. You ain't striping, you ain't mowing.
Does the sun come across your house, or how does it pass over you?
So my house faces the east.
Okay. So it's coming up.
Yeah. But like when it, like in my backyard, I got all the trees and everything, and I got the house. So my front yard sees a lot of shade, especially this time of year.
So you can probably get, most times of the day, you could probably get some good shots of the yard and get some good stripes, I would imagine, when it's, peak season for you.
Yeah, the best is like if I mow at night and then early morning shots, like looking at my house, because then that's when the sun's coming up, that's when it looks best. Or if like I'm going to go stripes across my yard this way,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the afternoon, because I can come to this side of my house and take pictures looking
Oh
that
yeah.
way, like from my driveway.
Yeah, mine. That's it. Yeah, most of mine are. I either have to go parallel to the house and get those in the morning time, or I can do a diagonal across the yard, going kind of like shooting across my house. And that's when the sun is like,
Yep.
early to late morning, depending on the time of year. So those will be the majority of like the best angle to get some good light, or when the sun is there, even if you're looking at the house, that's probably that direction is when it looks the best. I'm
Yeah.
just not blessed to have one of these houses where the sun is like in front and it goes, so you can get like, diamond pattern and all this kind of stuff. And, but
Yeah. There's always a shadow in there somewhere. It's like, God dang, but
yeah, not this big open canvas of
yeah,
nothing. Yeah.
yeah, especially in my backyard with all the trees. But
Yeah, I didn't get around to doing my mulch beds completely this year. We discovered a lot of rock in them, so it'll be a pain in the ass and just a time consuming to get all those pulled up. But pulled out a bunch of weeds, kind of moved the mulch around so it covers it up, looks a little better. Did all that just before Halloween so that it didn't look so trashy for all the trick or treaters coming up to the house and everything.
yeah, do you use
Earlier,
mulch glue?
I haven't, but I might next year when we finally get around to deciding what all we want to do in the flower beds and actually do it. I probably will. I mean, the kids have loved just destroying it and digging in there. And it's just kind of been this thing where it's like, it's a mess. We haven't really done anything with the flower beds yet. So go ahead, kids, have at it. But I would like to have it look less crappy. So I might try some mulch glue, at least maybe on some sections, and maybe leave other areas so the kids could still dig and play. Maybe
Yeah.
back in a little bit further back, so we could have bushes and flowers and things in the front, and maybe glue the mulch maybe around those or something.
Mhm.
So I do have some of that. I do have some of the Petra mulch glue, but I've just never used it. Have
Yeah.
you used it?
No, I have it,
Mhm.
but I've never used it.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically, I don't have no flowers, no shrubs in my mulch. It's literally just mulch when my
Yeah.
mulch bed's around. I kind of like going out there and after like a month, like re-raking it up and kind of like,
Mhm.
freshening it up and turning it
Sure.
over.
Yeah.
So I kind of like doing that and just kind of almost like leveling it out and kind of, it's almost like, like you're in the
Zen garden or
in
whatever.
in the sand trap at a golf course.
Yeah.
Just kind of trying to get it nice and smooth and
Yep.
stuff like
Getting
that.
it
But
just right again before you head
yeah,
off to work or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. And actually now, like we may try and do something now. But my excuse was always like, that's where I would keep all my hoses, like from when I had my sprinklers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like take them all the way in. I would just like wound
Sit
them
in
up and
there.
just put them
Yep.
in my mulch. And I mean, you can still see like there's sprinklers wherever it is, behind those blue
Oh
ones
yeah.
on the side of my house.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just kind of sitting right there. But yeah, I need to get some actual landscaping done around the house and get that going.
I'm telling the wife I want to get one of those retractable hose reels for Christmas or something because um, it's a pain in the ass. Our spigot for watering is in the garage or it's around the side of the house. So earlier this year, I bought like a 4x4 post and some quick concrete, and I was going to dig a hole close to our front door and plant that in there. So that's something I could do here this weekend. Maybe me and my kids will play out there and they'd probably have some fun doing that. So my concern is that it's been so wet and rainy and that area is just shaded that it's going to be kind of a clay, muddy, just a mess, real hard to kind of scoop out. So we'll see how it goes. But that's one of my things is maybe to try to accomplish that. And then if not, I'll just move it off to the side of the garage and get it out of the way so we can still park in the wintertime.
Yeah. Yeah. The hose reels are nice. I have one. I don't use it as much as I thought I would. But yeah, they're nice to have. So
yeah, where I'm going to put it is like right next to our front door almost. But my intentions are like, okay, I want this to be right there, super convenient because I know the wife and kids are going to love grabbing it after school and stuff and running out there and hitting the bushes and flowers and things. So it'd be really awesome if it was just right there. Maybe get a quick connect so you can change the end piece of it to different end pieces or whatever for soak in or something like that. And then basically I need to measure, but I want it also to be able to pull it all the way out and then wrap around as far as I can to the other side of the house to get whatever I may need to do over there. So it'll be this pole like right by our front door, kind of sitting there just randomly. But it's like, well, eventually we're gonna have bushes and flowers and things, so it won't look so out of place. But right now it'll just be this ugly pole sitting there. But at least then we'll be forced to actually get one of these hose reels and put it on there and have it. So it's like once I got the pole in there, there's no going back. We're gonna have to get one. That's kind of my thought process there.
Yeah,
convincing the wife to give me one for Christmas. They're not cheap, but they look really. I mean, they look like they work really well. And yeah, those I want 100 feet, the longest one they got, I think, because I'd like to put mulch bed around my tree out front, get the grass out of there because it always kind of struggles, and then maybe plant some bulbs or something cool to add some color. And definitely want to be able to water that too. With everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we didn't even really introduce the show. Welcome to Keep Off the Grass livecast. This is episode 168, shooting the shit with Nate. Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
This was good, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in and listening to us just talk about our yards and what we got going on.
So, yeah, appreciate it. So
awesome. All right. Well, we're off next week again. Hopefully we'll get Olee on here next week and see what he's got going on. So thanks you guys for jumping on. You guys have a good night.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. And